Neighborhood Bruce, I'm Matic Bruce, co-founder of SVVR. It's been 5 years, unbelievably. We are so happy that you are all here in this space, helping us celebrate and also experiencing so much of what we have to offer here tonight. So what we have going on is that my esteemed colleague Karol and also esteemed colleague Fred, they will be doing some awesome, crazy, wonderful presentation for you. I'm gonna hype it up. It better be good. It better be good.
Oh, it's everything.
It's so good, you guys. It's so good. And then we have some community announcements. I believe after that we have so many demos here. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we're gonna have a great time. So thanks so much for coming through, and I'm gonna pass it over to Karol. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Bruce. All right. Thank you, everyone. We're just going to take a moment to enjoy this short clip. Look how young we were. So, in case you're wondering, this is footage from the very first SVVR. As you can see, it is jam-packed with demos and filled with familiar faces. Tip Tat, you're wearing the same outfit.
I knew that.
And you're in the same seat.
He did that on purpose.
Yes. Mitchell surprised us with this visit.
Yeah. So how many people here were at the very first SVVR? Awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome. So that's pretty good.
Yes.
I love about this video, so all of these people, pretty much everyone in this room had met for the first time that night. And everyone was like immediately friends. And you know, Chris Miranda getting along so well with you guys. Chris Miranda, are you in there? He said he's coming in VR. He might be a little later.
Yeah.
The old Oculus.
Look how awesome those headsets were.
So incredible.
Bruce's famous googly eye headset.
I was first. Rift coaster. The worst demo. And the best demo.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty much all roller coasters.
Yeah. It was the best demo.
All right, pop quiz. What was the first demo ever shown at an SVVR? Anyone?
Roller coaster.
Well, no, in the presentation. It was Make VR, that's right.
Yeah.
Make VR, which is available on Steam. Amir is here, representing Make VR. With a Razer Hydra and a DK1.
Miranda, Bruce, Whitten, Nate Mitchell, John Oakes, Carl France, Watson.
Right? Kent Bai, in case you're wondering who that is talking in VR over there. Hey, Kent.
What's up, kid?
I was so young.
Yes.
Bruce, we miss your dreads.
Who's the guy with the long hair? Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's me.
I really love this, yeah, just how there was like, just instantly, because of this shared passion for VR, there was all this like pent up desire for this technology, and there was just this instant sense of community, and this like instant magic in the air, and we've kept that going all through the years, which is really, really awesome.
Woo.
Yeah. All right, do I have here? Next. Okay, so what is SVVR? So SVVR is a community-supported global organization that connects the VR community. That's basically what we are. We started as a meetup just a meetup group on Meetup. We kind of joked a little bit about how far we could take this when we first kind of talked about what we might do here. We joked a little bit about, oh, we could maybe one day do a conference, and oh, we could bring that conference into VR, and it was kind of half joking, and then we did it all. We did all of that stuff. So we started as a meetup, and we committed to meeting monthly, and that was really important, and I'm really glad we did that because we were on the fence. We were going to meet a little bit every month, every couple months, every 3 months or whatever, but we decided to meet monthly, and that became so important because by keeping that monthly cadence, we really just built this backbone of community over time. And a community style event like SVVR is so different than a big industry event, which is, a little bit different, but community is the most important thing. If we think about VR, there's a lot of great companies that are really kind of leading the torch right now in the industry. But if we go back a few years, the companies, the investors, everyone had given up on VR. The people that kept VR alive and really kept it going over there, it was the communities, the passionate developers. There was rich communities online, like meant to be seen forums. That's really where the Oculus kind of came out of that community. And those were the people that kept VR alive when everyone else had given up on it for dead. So it's really important to remember that the community, VR would not have happened if it wasn't for Kickstarter too. It wouldn't have happened in the time frame that it did. Kickstarter, again, it was that community, that crowdfunding. We needed people to believe in it when the investors and the companies had all given up on it. It's so important, and I just want to re-emphasize that over and over and over. And SVVR has really remained community first over the years. It's the most important thing to us. So how do you foster a community? Primarily for us, it's been through events. We started with the meetups. We found that there's something just really magical about being together, bringing people together, and in particular around VR, because of the experience is so important and demos are so important. That going to an event became the only way you could really try new VR. You couldn't try, I used to say, you can't try the DK2 from inside the DK1. You have to go somewhere and try these new demos and these new products and before it's available on the market, before you can buy this stuff. And companies need to try things on people, and that's, the startups became really a key piece of the community because the startups, they were building this stuff and they wanted to get this stuff in front of people and get feedback. That's really how the live event became really the backbone on this. So these community events, this monthly cadence became really, really important. But also industry, we're building an industry too. We're not just building a group of people that love to hang out with each other, although we definitely have that. But we're trying to build an industry around VR. So events, live events like our big conference became really important for this. And the SVVR conference was the first consumer-focused VR conference at least in the U.S. since '95, I think. And that was the first SVVR conference was right down the road at the Computer History Museum. The first SVVR meetup was actually right down the road the other way. So in the same place. So. We really, I love being back in Mountain View because we got right back to where we are. But live events, there are some problems around live events. The big conference, that's once or twice a year you can do a big conference like that. And there's a lot of expense, and it's really locked to specific time and place and specifically location. It's geographically locked. And a live event happens in a specific place, and so a lot of people, maybe can't afford to come to Silicon Valley for this type of event. So that's kind of a problem that's kind of been bugging us over the year. But throwing live events, it's really important to us, to keep this sustainable and accessible and to people not just necessarily here in Silicon Valley. So we've been working over the years on coming up with ways that we can sustain ourselves. Keep it down in VR over there. So we've been over the years we've been developing ways that we can sustain what we do and really bring it to a broader audience. So most recently we've come up with our Passport membership. So this is a platform as a service that helps professionals. It's really geared towards helping professionals and helping startups It gives them access to the space, resources, equipment, demo rooms, specifically designed around VR, and support to help them sustain and grow their business. So I do want to just very quickly thank the companies. We do have early access members in our passport, and we do have some in the queue that haven't made it on here yet because we're still we're backed up on the onboarding process a little bit. But I do want to thank these companies. These companies are really helping us sustain this community. So, we have great folks. A lot of these folks are here tonight. In particular, I wanted to call out two example companies, Infinadeck, which is right up front there. Infinadeck has had a really good run the past couple of months. They had their launch event here. They were in Ready Player One. And that's the crazy omnidirectional treadmill in the front.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they threw their launch event here, and we think it was a really great way to get. They're not based in Silicon Valley; they're a bit far off. So this was a really great way to get them in the community here and get hardware in front of everyone, so we can all try it. Infinadeck is great too because we've been. They were at our very first conference back in 2014, so. Seeing that evolve has been fantastic and really rewarding, and to see that actually get in a movie and become a real thing. It's awesome. So please try the Infinadeck if you tried it. We also flowimmersive is another company. Where's Jason? Jason's here somewhere. Yeah, there's Jason. So flowimmersive, another Passport member company. They just had a launch event here the other night as well. Really killing it on the enterprise VR side of things, using VR for storytelling. Yeah, we just want to thank all the Passport member companies for their support. This has really been the primary way that we've allowed the community to support what we do here is through the Passport. So in the past years, we've also started to expand globally. We think what we do is really valuable and really valuable to build the VR industry. And we've been expanding this. We have chapters in Korea and Japan now. Yeah. We've learned that, yes, awesome. So we've learned that the cultures there are very different, and they have very different perspectives, and it's a different culture. And there's a big problem though, is that you guys have never met the SVVR Korea people, and you haven't never met the SVVR Japan people, except occasionally when they come and visit. We're geographically isolated. That's a big problem that's really been bothering us. These communities in isolation, this has really just become a key problem that we are just focused on more and more and more. And there's really no universal solution to this. So it's obvious that, okay, VR can help solve this problem, right? We've been talking and thinking about this from the start, and there's great communities forming in VR. We have VR platforms like High Fidelity, and there's Altspace and VR Chat, and just an endless number of VR platforms and communities forming there. But again, they're all isolated. They're isolated from each other, and they're isolated from the real world, until now. This platform fragmentation and exclusivity, it leads to fragmented communities, and it's not healthy, and it limits growth as well. So there's all these great things happening that you just don't know about unless you jump through the hoops to put on the headset and try every single platform and go out of your way to find all of these communities. And this has been a real problem that's been bugging us over the years, more and more and more. So tonight we are announcing a solution to this problem. We have a solution that we think that allows people to attend events around the world on your own terms. So with this, we can build truly global communities. We've been honing this idea right from the very start. We had VR. Our meetups became mixed with VR right from meetup number 2, where we had, I see Philip in there, where we had Philip present and do live demos through High Fidelity, right there from meetup number 2. Our first conference, we had live connections into High Fidelity and also into Second Life, which we actually had many more Second Life attendees than we had physical attendees, which was really interesting. We've been really playing with this and honing this from the start, but it's been a sticky solution, right? You can't just pick a platform and say, hey, everyone, download this Unity client, and then we're going to have a VR conference. That doesn't work, especially if it's around the VR industry, because a lot of people in the industry are working on their own solutions to this. It needs to be done in a way that is inclusive to everyone. So tonight, we are announcing Multiverse. Yes. So Multiverse, it is not a product. Multiverse is an initiative. This is an initiative that will allow people to attend events on their own terms. It gets pretty complicated, but we're going to make it real simple for you. The very first implementation of Multiverse is what we call the reality portal. This is what you see here. This is connecting real-world events to virtual worlds. This is not, we're not just streaming and we're not just putting this on a window. These are two-way windows. They can actually see us. They can see us, they can hear us, we can talk to them. If you guys say hello from VR, hello. Hello. Yeah, so they're actually here. And the great thing about this, we notice is that we remember them being here. We remember people who are here as if they're here in the room. And they can interact with the speaker, they can interact with members of the audience. It's a lot deeper than just streaming into VR.
Very much for this from this side of the portal.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. And one of the greatest things that we've noticed when we do this, and when we use the reality portal at our events, because we've been prototyping this, many of you noticed, we've been prototyping this at the past few events. One of the greatest things we notice is that the culture, there are cultural norms that form in a community, a way of behaving. You know, people at SVVR events are very friendly, they're very open, there's a good energy here, right? It's like a kind of family, there's like love in the air. That actually extends into VR. You know, in VR, when people are anonymized, it often can happen, you know, that people can get kind of trolly and, you know, it's a little safer to kind of go crazy and there seems to be less consequences. But when we actually connect the virtual worlds and real worlds, we find that the cultural norms kind of seep into VR, and it's a really interesting effect that we see, like a cultural effect there. So, but Multiverse goes deeper than this. This is the first implementation of it, but Multiverse goes a lot deeper, and we're going to give you a sneak peek of what that looks like. Fred has recently joined the team as partner. This is Fred. Everyone meet Fred Spencer. You ready, Fred? You ready? Yeah. All right. So Fred is going to take us through a demo showing a sneak peek of how this goes beyond just this window into VR here.
Hey, Scroll.
All right.
Hey, everyone. What's up, Fred? So, hey, guys.
Hey.
All right. I need my hands here. All right.
He's playing computer.
I'm doing computer. All right, guys. So Multiverse. What is this?
It's been around since the 90s. Hey, they can hear you.
This guy knows. He knows. So, as Karol had said about the fragmentation in metaverses, is there a way for us to take these different worlds that create communities in isolation and bridge them together? As Karol said, Reality Portal is the first instance of this, but we're actually extending this a bit further. Oops, I skipped. Oh, I just skipped a little bit.
No skipping.
Spoilers.
No skipping.
So we're actually becoming what we call a multiverse provider, and this is a combination of a number of things. Specifically what we call the MDK, or the Multiverse Development Kit, which allows you to take, actually, so I don't skip ahead too much, let me just show you what I mean.
Do it.
All right, so I have a character here in High Fidelity. There's a giant eyeball right there for you. That's part of it. So I'm going to teleport to a remote location in our High Fidelity space.
Where is it?
All right, just give me a moment here. This ends up being rather complicated to be able to show it on both sides. All right. Can everyone see my screen there in high fidelity? So I'm going to turn off the portals here. And we don't want to move the whole screen. There we go. All right. So I have an instance here in high fidelity, and I'm going to keep that open right now. This is what we've been calling our SVVR communications pod. Right now it's empty. So what we've been doing as we've been building a reality portal is we've been prototyping new features around how we can make this a bit more immersive. So on the VR side of things, in high fidelity, you're kind of looking at a TV screen. So we've begun to prototype our own web VR client that works in Chrome and Firefox. So I'm going to go and boot up an instance here. I'm sorry? It does work on mobile.
But don't ask the frame rate.
Yeah, no, let's not talk about that. So this is the SVVR pod in the browser.
What's going on?
So what you're actually seeing here is our representation of the portal in essentially a curved implementation. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to everyone in high fidelity.
Hey, hi guys.
So we're able to do some really interesting things in the browser in terms of prototyping. Oh, hi. These are all features that we work on, and we look at ways that we can implement this on the high fidelity side. Right now in the public space here, which is pretty crowded, it's this big public space. Communications pod like this may not necessarily make the most sense. This is nuts. How many people are in there? One thing to note in terms of what we support here, Reality Portal in this implementation also supports near real-time stereoscopic video, which we're not showing here, but we have prototypes. Right now we're using an older Z camera, which makes you a bit ill because of the cameras are a little bit too far apart. I'm sorry? So this is interesting, but let's take high fidelity and put it on one side, and then we're going to put this on the other. I'm going to put a person here, and I'm going to start flying over this area over here in high fidelity. And yeah, I'm basically just going to go through here and, oh, hi. So what you're seeing here is a user in high fidelity showing up in the exact same space within the browser and vice versa. So this is what we're calling right now a merged space concept. So that this is really the point of Multiverse, is that we're providing tools to allow you to take the worlds that you're building and a common pipeline, so that people that are in different metaverses can actually attend the same event in what we're calling the Multiverse. So where we're pretty limited here in the physical world, on the digital world, the virtual world, and the metaverse, we're not really limited by those kinds of things. So by enabling the sharing of space, you don't really have to think in terms of the technology you're using. You can enjoy the culture of the platform that you're using, and we're providing this transparent bridge so that if, say, you're in like Mozilla Spaces, for example, and then in high fidelity, you can essentially join the same events together here, as well as with Reality Portal. So this is what we're doing with, this is essentially what Multiverse is. This is the state that it's in right now. We're planning to release an open beta for the Multiverse development kit later this year. And we are planning to, working with High Fidelity, we're going to be taking Reality Portal and essentially people in VR to events around the world where you don't have to worry about boundaries in terms of geography or cost or any of those kinds of things. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and give it back to Karol so he can, I kind of spoiled the moment a little early. Hopefully you weren't looking at the screen, right? No one was looking at the screen when he did that?
What are you talking about?
Exactly. I just love, I love these little kitsune heads. They're so nice. Right. Yeah, so I'm gonna switch back to. I'm gonna tell everyone what I'm doing every step of the way.
So the first time we got this working, we felt like we had this magic moment where we had, where you were basically existing in 3 different spaces at the same time across 3 different worlds: the real world, high fidelity, and the web VR world, all at the same time, which we think was like a kind of a first step on the moon kind of moment for a true kind of globally connected metaverse or multiverse, as we call it. So. Yeah, so Multiverse is, as we said, it's an initiative. So as part of this initiative, we have partnered, High Fidelity is joining us as a strategic partner and helping us support the development of this effort. High Fidelity is a great platform for us to do this because it is completely open and completely open source, and you can do pretty much anything in High Fidelity, and everything is scriptable, and it's a real easy, like, we wouldn't actually need permission from High Fidelity. It's so open that we wouldn't even need their permission to do this, and we didn't, in fact, as we started, but now that we're actually working closer with them, we can get, features and really kind of take this to the next level. So we are also announcing that we are joining the VRBA. This is the Virtual Reality Blockchain Alliance. So as part of this, our multiverse will be kind of VRBA aware. This will allow, going down the road, allow people to share identity, share assets, even money across these worlds, which is really interesting. Avatar portability and asset portability is all going to be really important if we want to have healthy communities that exist across multiple worlds at once. So we're really excited about the VRBA. As we said, more and more everything we're doing, we're really doubling down on community. Community has been, the thing that really helped us get off the ground, and community has been the backbone all along. So along those lines, we are, in addition to partners like High Fidelity, who's joined us as a strategic partner on the Multiverse initiative, we're actually changing the structure of SVVR. So SVVR has traditionally been an LLC. We've always been somewhere between a nonprofit and a for-profit, kind of in the middle. But there actually is a legal structure for that now. So it's called the Public Benefit Corporation, and it allows you to be mission-driven without a lot of the extra kind of red tape that comes with being a nonprofit and some of the limitations there. So we're actually converting to a Public Benefit Corporation. So we are no longer SVVR LLC, we are SVVR PBC. What that means also is that we are relying a lot more on the community, and whoops, I jumped ahead there. So yeah, we are relying a lot more on the community and looking a lot more for community feedback on this. So we are going to be launching a Patreon, which is
so just to note, we haven't been able to. I think we were doing slides at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
on all of this, the presentation ended up being the last thing, and I just remembered as we were talking about this, like I forgot to press the publish button on Patreon.
Okay.
So, whoops.
Brett is going to be pressing the publish button on the Patreon shortly. So if you think that this effort of connecting virtual worlds to each other and to the real world and getting everyone on the same page and getting these communities, if you think this is worthwhile, please support us. Please look for our Patreon, not right now, but a little bit later. We have a number of ways that people can support this initiative. If you are building any sort of world that you want to connect to other worlds, please come and talk to us, because we are looking for partners who will want to be kind of early on in these conversations as we figure out what this looks like and how we interface with different platforms. You know, Multiverse, the vision behind this is that, you know, as we showed, we had these 2 merged spaces, but we could actually have, you know, 10 spaces that are merged all around a single event, so that people could attend that event any way they like. When you pop into the space, you actually see the avatars looking the way they're supposed to look from the other platforms, so people can appear the way they like to appear and join events the way they want to appear. So if you think this is an interesting effort, please support us. Support the Patreon, sign up. We have a mailing list specifically for Multiverse. We think this is a really important initiative, not just for SVVR and, you know, for the next 5 years of SVVR, but also for the future of the metaverse and the future of VR, and really making this a lot healthier future than some of the kind of walled garden dystopian futures that sci-fi is giving us. So that is Multiverse. All right, a little more for Fred.
Just a little bit more. So on, if you sign up for on multiverse.svvr.com, we're giving away some copies of Beat Saber in June. So we'll be picking randomly from the community list there. So hopefully that'll be yeah.
All right. For the 3 people that haven't bought Beat Saber yet. That's the only VR I do these days, is Beat Saber. So yeah, so that is Multiverse. We hope you find it interesting. It's really, we see it as the future of SVVR, the future of how we are able to eventually do a conference that is in VR on all platforms across the world, completely global, completely inclusive and accessible for everyone. So that's it. Tonight we kept it short on the presentation so that we can have lots of time for demos, but as is our way, we are going to open up the microphone now for community announcements. So if you have something you would like to tell us about, keep it short and sweet. And thank you very much.
All right, community announcements. Line up over here. You have 60 seconds or about.
Go. Hey everybody, Maker Faire is this weekend, Bay Area Maker Faire up in San Mateo, and we are going to have an awesome setup. You're seeing a preview of it tonight with the dance floor, haptic dance floor that Mike Jones put up from BrainFizz, and Bruce's awesome motion chair, and of course the metaverse. We're going to be showing that. We could use some volunteers, so if you're interested in going to Maker Faire, come see me, and we've got some passes if you're willing to help put maybe 4 hours in, helping run people through demos, manage the line. Just come grab me after, and really appreciate it. It's going to be a good time. All right.
Cool. Lisa. Yep.
Hi everyone, my name is Craig Dalton. I'm with Sandbox VR. We're opening a free-roaming virtual reality experience center in San Mateo on June 2nd. We've been operating in Hong Kong and 6 other facilities around the world. It's a pretty amazing experience. We're using HTC Vive, and we're looking for both employees at the store level as well as a couple deployment engineers to help us roll out around the country and around the world. So if you're interested, speak to myself or my colleague Yasser in the back there. Yasser, if you want to raise your hand, happy to tell you more about what we're doing.
Where to do?
It's in the Hillsdale Shopping Center. Thanks.
Hi, Mike Roberts from Constructive Labs. I don't know whether anyone remembers our demo here from about 6 months ago. We're mainly a European thing. We have a platform that makes making multi-user VR applications really easy. You can do it in VR, wire components together, and basically specify the entire behavior of your multi-user application in VR. The great news is that we've made it to beta, and if you go to constructivelabs.com, you can sign up for an invite and download the platform and start playing with it. So go to constructivelabs.com, and if you're interested, come and talk to me, and I'll give you a card so that you've got my email address. Thanks.
Sweet. Next.
Hey, I'm Prav. I'm visiting from Miami. I want all of you to come to Miami to our meetups. We actually host a lot of really large ones, including in June we're hosting a 5-day gamer cruise. Like last year, like Fatality was our guest of honor. Also last year we hosted Bollywood VR, sponsored by AMD. So we actually did the world premiere of the largest Bollywood VR event in history. So you're all welcome to come. Our last event we had a Magic Leap speaker. And I'm here actually, I pitched my game at the Blockchain Gamer Conference. I had a dog AR blockchain game. I mean, it's an AR dog game and trying to figure out why blockchain matters, but I, pitched it anyway.
Slap blockchain on it. Next up. Blockchain.
Hey, I'm Chris. You've probably seen me here before. I'm an indie developer on Crystal Punk Fight Scale Battle Arena Light Strike Array. Not demoing today, but next week there is another thing that is not Maker Faire. Right after it is Fanime, which is a very large anime convention in San Jose. And with the help of a couple of my friends, I'm going to be doing open one-on-one demos with the first public debut of Light Strike Array's mixed reality support. So you can get in there, smash your friends up, enjoy weeby stuff. So if you're going to be at Fanime, come drop by the booth and have fun.
Sweet. It's a great time. You should definitely go. What's up, Carlos?
My name is Karol Shares. I'm the studio lead for Digital Dice Works. We're here with the natural locomotion system again. We've made some changes, and we also got our patent pending, so no more NDAs. I'm really sorry about that last time. We're also out here to refine the system a bit more. So if you haven't tried our system yet, I'd recommend you come out. On top of that, too, we also have the announcement that our public demo is now out and available. So if you visit our website at www.digitaldiceworks.com, you can download it and try it there if you don't happen to catch it today.
Cool. You want to feel like what it feels like to be Wonder Woman, you should definitely try this locomotion system. It's pretty awesome.
Hi.
All right, hey.
Hi, my name is Masa. I'm from Miraisense. We are based in Japan, but we actually launched our office in the United States April 1st, so we're still new in the Bay Area. What we do is we use 3D haptics technology, so you can actually feel the force power and then pressure power and also the tactile feeling. Combine those, you can actually feel the all human feel the sensation. So we have a demo today. Until you try it out, everybody say, "What are you talking about?" So you're gonna try it, otherwise you're not gonna know. Please come our booth. Thank you.
Thank you. Mona?
Hey, I'm Elliot with Visionary Rentals, and we just started a bootstrap company. We rent headsets, so if you need extra Oculus Go's, Rifts, HTC Vives, the Go's are $10 a day. I think we have some pretty competitive pricing, $25 a day for the Rift and $30 a day for the Vive. So yeah, just hit me up. I'll be around, and yeah, have a good one.
Nice. I'm excited that exists. That's awesome.
Hi, I'm Jason with flowimmersive. I've got my way in the back. Specifically, we're focused on everyday VR for the enterprise. What does that look like? Data storytelling, moving key ideas from PowerPoint into something that you could put together in a few hours and show in a meeting to get somebody deeply into your message where it will stick in VR. Come talk to me.
Awesome. Love the practicality.
Hi everybody, I'm Rita from Oculus, and I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about the Oculus Start program. I brought a bunch of flyers in the back. We would like to help anybody who's working on a VR project get that published, and we're here to offer any help that we can. We have a specific program that offers developer support through our partner program with Unity and Unreal, and we also will be shipping Go's and Rifts to those that need them in a little bit. So come see it, Brian and I, if you're interested in learning more about the Oculus Start program. Thank you.
Please do.
Okay, last community announcement. So we promised that we are going to bring community announcements to our VR attendees too, because we don't want them to feel like second-class citizens. We don't have that working yet tonight, but we do have something, one more interesting thing that we're going to show. So around 9 o'clock, Philip Rosedale is going to join us over there, actually on a different screen, and he's going to join us for a very short little presentation and say hello and talk a little bit more about our strategic partnership there with High Fidelity. So don't miss that around 9 o'clock. And with that, we are going to break for demos. There are fantastic demos all around. Haptic dance floor, Bruce's crazy chair, Beat Saber. We're gonna have Beat Saber mixed reality going on in a few minutes. Give us a few minutes to set that up. We gotta move some wires. There's the Locomotion guy, Carlos in the room in the middle. Demos all over. Don't forget Infinadeck. Thank you all very much.
Woo!